Hi, hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lady Celine. I'm perpetually tired, but we are getting into the Chapter 2 trial. Our favorite cheerleader, Kizuna Tomori, is dead. We did the whole investigation. I don't really remember a lot of it, so I am going to be going over each of the truth bullets and kind of giving my thoughts about that before we actually jump into the trial. Alright, Monokuma File 2, a file provided by Monokuma. The details of the case are written here. The victim is Kizuna Tomori. Estimated time of death is about 9:30 p.m. Found in the power room switchium on the school's second floor. There's a long torn wound on the stomach, and bleeding is large. Critical cause of death is a cut through the esophagus by a knife. Burn marks. What happened here? The floor and walls of the switchium are full of burn marks. And no matter how you look at it, it's very recent. But what was the cause of these? Stomach wound. Tomori's fatal wound is a neck wound, but there's a long wound in the torn stomach. This also appears to be cut with a knife. I wonder, why did the killer even strike for it? Of course, a stomach cut would be fatal, but they would have a throat scream to kill next. They wouldn't have had to hit the stomach first. Inori's medical results. Inori informed of the results of Tomori's autopsy. Basically, she said it matches the information on the Monokuma file. She also said that there was an abnormally large amount of bleeding. The amount of blood loss is individual, but in Tomori's case, it must have taken a considerable amount of time to die. She said she must have felt a terrible pain. Dude, that sucks. Like, I didn't want her to... I didn't want her to suffer. I was actually looking forward to trying to be friends with her again, you know? Get her back on our side. I don't know. I think I've been feeling the heaviness of this for a few days, so it's taken me a minute to come back to record. Anyway, the abnormally large amount of blood does make me think that somehow the killer was injured, you know, in this scuffle. The stomach wound, I think, was some kind of accident, so like killer person was walking around in the switchium and Kizuna came in and startled them, and so they did the stomach wound, you know, they did a little stab, and then yeah, like I guess tried to start a fire to cover it up. I am not entirely sure there. Broken flashlights. 2 flashlights were found broken in the switchium room. Is it the flashlights of Tomori and the killer? They didn't destroy the evidence then. What's the reason for them to be left here? Seeing that both of them were broken, there was a struggle happening at the same time. Dying message. A weird message that looks like it says XXXX. The killer left it behind right before Tomori died. This has to be a clue somehow. Wait, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense, but I think I get what they mean. Is that like Tomori left it, but the killer maybe supposedly seeing this? Huh. I just had a theory. I don't know where this comes from, but it's like we've got the dying message. The killer left it behind right before Tomori died. So our assumption is to be that Tomori left it herself because it took her a considerable amount of time to die. What if the killer wrote this message? So this is supposed to mislead us somehow. Thinking that the killer may have left the message and left more blood at the scene to make it look like Tomori took a long time to die. Maybe maybe the girl didn't suffer. You know, maybe she actually died rather quickly, and the killer, you know, just in order to obfuscate this entire thing, was like, okay, I'm gonna act like she leaves a dying message. We're gonna fake the dying message. Um, and I don't know, maybe they were already injured in the scuffle, or like, but the killer was also injured, so there was more blood. They probably then like arranged it to look like she had taken longer to bleed out. I don't know what meaning the dying message has, but Tomori left this important message to us. We have to be thankful. Broken glass window. The window on the switchium was broken. Broken, dentures fort through. If you leave through here, you can leave the power room without having to leave by the switchium's entrance. But there was a person on either side of the entrance to the power room. They couldn't have avoided being seen while killing Tomori. Even if they got no way out, why would they break the window? Yeah, that's gonna have to come back. I'm not entirely sure. Burned fuse line. So obviously, I guess has something to do with the fire. I feel like the killer did a lot to just complicate things. A lot of this seems so unnecessary. Like giving us two options for how the fire started or continued. Faking the exit. Unless like they maybe started the fire with the little lighter. That's all they had to do then was blow the room. Burned fuse line. The fuse line is located along the wall of the switchium. The middle of it's burned and there's traces of being wet. It seems this was the cause of fire inside the switchium. Probably the culprit was planning a fire with the fuse. What was the reason for it? A piece of bloody cloth. A large piece of a man-sized cloth is placed in the corner of the switchium. It's been checked and there are burn marks in several parts of it. It's bloody as well. It was probably for the purposes of stabbing with the knife and not having blood on your body, I guess. Yeah, I feel like that's a safe assumption. Lighter. It was found covered in the bloody cloth. It is a small lighter with the firepower size of a finger. It would be enough to cause a fire. If so, the switch that triggered the fire was caused by this lighter. May not be impossible. So, okay, the lighter has to do with like the burned fuse line, like that's kind of what started the fire. I can't exactly tell how far this fire spread or how much of it, because it also seemed to then go out really quickly, like almost like a smoke bomb. I don't know what they were planning with this at all. Secret message. The motive that Monokuma shared with us 2 days ago. A piece of cloth was covering it with a lighter burning almost everything. The content of it cannot be read properly, but with some letters you can see that it's a secret note. Why is my secret note on the crime scene? Yeah, Yuki Maeda and might be. So we know Kizuna didn't have my message, but apparently the killer did. Were they maybe like setting up to kill me? Like maybe they were in the process of setting up something to kill me and got caught by Kizuna and just had to blood marks on the entrance side. A blood smear dropped on the switchium floor towards the entrance. Tomori died deep within the switchium room. The fact that the blood goes towards the entrance means that the killer ran away urgently injured. However, there is blood up to this part only. The person has disappeared cleanly outside of this room. From the entrance of the switchium towards the exit, if they came out this way, why is the window broken? A lot of that didn't really register with me, but I guess the point is both exits seem to not make sense, and we're not exactly sure where they came from. Wire trap. The switching. Okay, the wire trap was installed on the entrance side. It is so sharp that it is difficult to confirm it with only bare hands. This was how Hatano hurt her leg. It looks like the killer installed it. What's the reason? Wasn't the killer only aiming at Tomori? Hatano's injury. Hatano was investigating a black object at the entrance of the switchium. She stopped, getting caught in a wire trap and hurting her leg. Is she okay? It's hard to say that the killer targeted Hatano. If it wasn't for her, what was the purpose of the wire trap? No, that I haven't figured out. I don't really have any good theories on that. The third flashlight. This is what Hatano was trying to investigate when she got injured. It's hard to see it properly, but it's a flashlight. It appears to have been caught in the fire of the switchium, but if you have a flashlight, you already have two inside. It was placed as... I'm thinking it's supposed to say it was placed as bait. Why would it have only burned without breaking? How, prior to that, the flashlight in the switchium came with Tomori and the killer. Who was using this flashlight then? So, yeah, why is there a third flashlight? Why is it not broken like the other two are? So, I'm not sure why it's there, but I can see it, like, maybe just, getting a little smoky from the fire, maybe, and getting tossed in a corner, which would also make me think that the wire trap was actually already set up, and this was just like I'll throw it back there, dispose of evidence, as everyone kind of clamored to the crime scene. Tyra's testimony. I asked Tyra why she wasn't in the student dormitory during the nighttime broadcast at the time of the incident. She said that just before nighttime she was cooking in the kitchen and smeared some oil on her clothes. Surprising, you sure made a sloppy accident, Tyra. Okay, I also felt our investigation was cut pretty short. Like, I really wanted to go check out the laundry room and the kitchen because both of those are mentioned in Tyra's testimony, and we didn't get to search for any kind of evidence. So we're just going on her word for now. I don't know if she just expects us to have that much trust in her, or maybe the game expects us to. But then there's Kinjo's testimony. Kinjo told me what happened at the time of the incident. At around 9 o'clock, Hatano shouted that the switchium was on fire. He grabbed a fire extinguisher and extinguished the fire from the outside. There was a sound of the glass breaking, and when he entered, he saw Tomori's body at the end of the room. The order of people who discovered the body was Kinjo, Hatano, Mikaru, Uehara. Those four. Tyra and Kurakawa came after Monokuma's announcement. Okay, So yeah, the fire was started. Kinjo came in, was like, oh shit. It was Hachino. I think it's probably important for us to know that Hachino was the one that shouted that the switchium was on fire. He grabbed a fire extinguisher, extinguishing the fire from the outside. Then the glass broke. Okay, so the fire was already lit, but the glass didn't break until after the fire was extinguished. I guess I assumed that the glass broke because of the fuse, but maybe it just like wasn't used at all. I really don't know there. Window fragments. The glass window at the end of the switchium was broken. According to Kinjo, the side where Tomori was dead, it was on fire, and the window was broken while extinguishing the fire. Was it the killer who was inside the switchium breaking through the window inside that smoke? However, in Kinjo's words, he said that it feels wrong. It's too neatly broken. So that's where I think maybe the fuse was on some kind of delay. even though the fire was already going on around it. And so the fuse got lit. It broke in a pattern to make us think that the killer escaped that way. Teruya's testimony. Teruya went to the antique shop every day to keep things in check. The lighter, fuse, flashlight all disappeared after nighttime. All of the items that were used in the crime scene. At that point, Tomori was free to go around at nighttime. There was also the other two, Mikaru and Uehara. Then, among the three, did anybody take the tools? In addition, the wire did not come from the antique shop. Okay, so the wire didn't come from the antique shop. That's, I guess, important to know. So it's like, oh, I don't know who would have that kind of super thin wire on them, or where they might find it. But then, yeah, everything else taken. Tomori was free to move around at that time. I mean, everyone was. We agreed to follow Kinjo's rules, but that doesn't mean that everybody stayed in the rooms at night. And Kurakawa's testimony. Kurakawa went to the kitchen and saw that one of the knives was missing. She mentioned the knife used to kill Tomori came from that place. Alright, so we kind of already knew that, but now we have testimony, someone saying that they can place the weapon. The killer was near the kitchen last night. It is most likely they arrived very recently and left. And so yeah, we know that Akane Taira went to the kitchen last night. So I gotta say, so far things are not looking good for Miss Maid. I'm actually kind of surprised and also again disappointed because I wanted to spend time with her, but I was like, no, like I took her for granted. I was like, oh, she's gonna be like our partner till the end, kind of your sidekick character. Or like, I don't know, secret mastermind or something. Point is, I really thought she was going to stick with us to the end, but now it's kind of looking like I was fooled. I done been fooled. She might have done this. So I guess that's my running theory, is that Taira was setting up for a murder to kill me, Yuki Maeda, Kizuna Tomori, stumbled across her. Taira had to kill her, and then was like, well shit, now I have to cover this up. Would have written the dying message, made it look like it took longer to bleed out so that it was believable that Kizuna wrote the message, started the fire to cover everything up. I don't know where Hatsuno comes in. I feel like there's something there, that she was the one to notice the fire first. I think that's important. She was the one that screamed fire. She was the one that said, hey, there's a fire, and got Tsurugi involved. So I'm really starting to think that this was doable. Like, I don't usually figure it out this. I don't know. Something's not right there. That I want to say it sounds too simple. Who fucking knows? Let's do this, bitch. First of all, let's start with a brief explanation of the class trial. The outcome of the class trial is decided by your votes. If you point out the blackened, only they will get punished. But in case you point the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one who tricked everyone else will graduate from this academy. Thank you, Zephy. We appreciate you, baby. Yeah, okay. Finally, the second class trial has begun. There's no such thing as being used to this atrocious game. I'm actually more anxious than last time. But if I'm afraid here, it can't be helped. As we did last time, let's think carefully with everyone else. Now then, first! Wait a minute, there's something I want to ask first. Oh my? What's the holdup? What are you going to ask? Last time it was my first time, so I didn't question it. But now that I think about it, I believe I have to ask this now. The body discovery announcement. What exactly are the conditions for the broadcast to show up?
Mikaru, why are you suddenly asking this kind of stuff? If you found a dead body, then you show the BDA. You get the body dead announcement.
You shut up. Boo! I see. After all, it is Mikaru, the one who pay attention to that, huh? Even so, it's basically as Kabashikawa-kun says. When you find a body, I broadcast it. Only when 3 people, at least 3 people have found a body, then the announcement will show up for everyone. Is it always like that? Is that a rule made on the spot, or was this applied from the last time? Of course it was applied from the beginning. In Maki's case, Taira found it first, then Maeda, and finally Hatano. Since the order was complete, it satisfies the condition of 3 people. The announcement came out because that rule was successfully completed. Right, it's true. The announcement rang the moment Hatano discovered it last. So I guess that's important for us to know that it does not include the killer. So 3 people have to literally discover the body, not including the killer. Oh, and something I forgot, I kind of trailed off earlier, but I was thinking that she maybe escaped from the front during the fire. I mean, shit was dark, and there would have been a lot of confusion, fire, noise. Like, I think she might have escaped from the front. Was that? Did I not tell you about this? It's too late. Oh, crap. Well, you know, when people live, they forget. It's like that, right? Oh, I'm not a human, but a bear, so it's okay. Okay, when more than 3 people find the body. Well, that found criteria is not dwell on time, is it? For example, a week passes after the initial discovery, and then the second one appears. Even if the third discoverer appears another week later, the broadcast will also ring. Yeah, time doesn't matter at all. When the first 3 people who have seen the corpse in any way, the announcement will sound the moment the third person discovers the body. Mikaru, I know it's fine to check the rules, but is the condition of the body discovery announcement important enough to ask? Wouldn't our main purpose now be trying to find the culprit? Keep quiet, I'm not over yet. Now then, Monokuma. This is the most important question. That would be a witness to the crime includes the culprit? Oh? Huh? I've asked a question. You won't answer? You ask, do the witnesses include the culprit? Well, that's a bit pretty, very super great whole delicate matter. I see. Even with a sharp sense, it becomes a problem. Okay, I'll tell you this. Depending on the characteristics of the case, whether or not the culprit is included in the discovery will be decided at the end of the trial. Ooh, he's giving a big fuck us, man. What? Then it's different this time. Then no one knows. It's up to our own judgment. That would also induce everyone to be against each other. I already told you this. When it comes to trials, I'm fairer than Buddha, God, and Jesus combined.
You said Jesus twice in a different meaning!
Let's recap. In the last case, you said that the announcement rang because Akane Taira, Yuki Maeda, and Ayame Hachino discovered the body. Then in the last case, Mitsuhiro Higa, the culprit, must have been excluded from the equation of the 3 people discovering the body.
Meh, I excluded Higa-kun. In fact, it didn't matter much if I included him, since the first 3 people to discover it were together at the time.
Then what about this case? The culprit who killed Kizuna Tomori. Are you including this person as a discoverer?
Yeah, that's right. Specification aside. Why the sudden dialect? Did you copycat Teruya?
What? My dialect not that awkward. I meant to have the maintenance pronunciation.
It doesn't seem to be enough from the mainland to mix different parts of every country.
No comment! No comment on that!
Well, if you ask for my opinion on a particular case, I would be the one on trial instead. If a judge enters the discussion, that's unfair, right? That would be a violation.
You're also evading the answer. Fine, just looking at your reaction makes me think I touched a sensitive subject.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell is Makaru talking about? Somebody let me know. The fuck is she going on about? Who knows? Well, that does it for the mischief to this point, and let's go with the trial soon. Did you know that 12 o'clock is past already? Originally, I was going to start right away, but Miss Makaru sounded weird, and it's late now. Anyways, let's go. First, start with the arrangement of the case. Please begin the discussion.
Why did Makaru ask such a question? I have no clue what she's thinking. I'm curious, but now I have to focus on the trial without thinking about anything else. Time to arrange the scene. Let's gather everyone. I hate to follow Monokuma's words, but we need to begin with the case. That is the topic at hand, because the people on the dormitory side at the time of the situation wouldn't know the details of this incident.
Alright, what happened to them? After listening to the body discovery announcement, I was in a hurry to find you guys, and then Tomori, she was dead in the power room, all over with burn marks in the room.
Okay, for those who know, reorganize the scene with the rest, and those who do not know the order of the events. From now on, take some time to confirm your positions with everyone.
Kinjo-kun, don't you have something to tell us before that?
What?
You said you wouldn't make anyone a victim if we followed you. For that purpose, we agreed, and you got rid of a group of 3 people, and everything ended up like this. So why? Why are you proud of it? Good job, then.
Okay, I would have to make amends to risk my own life and apologize for that, because I didn't keep my promises, but if you can't surpass this moment, everyone will die. It's a pity for what happened with Tomori, but I also have a duty to keep you all from being executed in the class trial. If you don't like it, I'll be out of this trial. Yeah, I'm an incompetent cop who can't make promises anyway.
That's enough. Everyone's just on edge. Think about other things later and focus on the trial for now.
Yes, Akane, I know you mean well, but let's finish this first.
Yeah, and Kenjo-kun, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Then, let's begin sorting out the case step by step. Well, you know I won't say it anymore, but I don't help you, understand?
I don't need you, 'cause there's Kinjo with us.
Are you talking to me?
No, Mikaru, you can stay.
Don't let me do everything. We have to do it together. I said this myself, even for a useless person, you must understand the truth of this case.
Boo! Alright!
Then let's begin. I didn't manage to get to the power room at the beginning of the whole incident to see it directly. Let's discuss what we heard and saw. The first part, around 9 p.m., Hachino discovered a fire in the power room, was it? Yeah, I was walking down the corridor on the second floor before nighttime, but when I entered the power room, there was black smoke coming out because it seemed to smell like something burning.
You mean that's what happened? I was at the antique shop, but I had no idea.
I heard Hachino's yelling and rushed to the second floor. Uehara and Makaru were together as we bumped into each other on the way. We went first to the power room, the epicenter of the fire. It was hot and smoky. The fire was about to spread from the control room to outside. Yes, it's exactly what Kinjo told me. I already know this part from Kinjo. What did Uehara do soon after was used a fire extinguisher to put out the fire, drew water, used sand. Okay, no, it was the extinguisher. We can say that pretty comfortably. So you brought a fire extinguisher in the hallway on the second floor to extinguish the fire, right? Yeah, that's correct. By the way, how would you know that? The ones in that area were Kinjo, Uehara, Makaru, and me. Oh, I asked Kinjo about it while investigating. Right. I told him. Maeda knows the unfolding process of the case. Is that so? Then let's continue. The four of us were putting out the fire. I heard something breaking inside the control room. At that moment, Kinjo looked at Uehara and asked to see if someone was going out of the power room door, and the other three, including me, went to the control room inside. Inside, there was... Tomori was dead! Yeah. At that point, the BDA came out. Taira and Kurikawa arrived to the power room soon after. Okay, from here on, our dorm team is joined. So let me speak. When we arrived, the fire had already been extinguished.
After that, like last time, Monokuma handed out the file. Monokuma handed out the file and put us on time to investigate.
Right, from here on out are the things that I've seen with my own eyes. Right after I examined the control room and returning, that happened. That would be Hachino's injury, yeah? Yeah, this was the next part of the crime that we actually witnessed. Shortly thereafter, Hachino had an accident in which her leg was injured by a wire trap.
That's what happened? Yamaguchi said it before in front of the elevator. Didn't you hear, dummy?
Ayame-chan, it's really okay? You still seem to be a little wobbly. Oh, it's no problem. It hurts a little right now, but it's not a major injury. We can treat it properly after the trial. Isn't that right, Inori?
Yeah, that. Well, you don't have to worry. Please continue with the trial.
Okay. You, that leg wound. Is this an injury more serious than expected? What? What are you talking about? Didn't you say it was okay? Even pretense is useless. Do you think I can't read other people's minds? You think I can't read a room? I might be socially inadequate, but I can read a room, goddammit. You, that incompetent and the doctor, the atmosphere of you three, it makes things clear that something happened. Shall we guess? Let's see. How about the leg injury that's so serious you wouldn't even be able to use it again? What? talking about? Ayama-chan said she was okay. That it's a lie, right? Makaru's just talking nonsense, right? Hey. Sorry, I thought you might be worried more, so I decided to keep this secret with Hachino. I lied. I'm sorry. Inori, no.
It's a lie? What do you mean?
In reality, Hachino's injury, the moving muscle tissue, the most important posterior tendon was amputated. Without luck, it's a serious injury that you might really have to wear crutches forever. What? Why was she lying to say it's okay for the serious injury? This is the most important trial of all our lives. Every detail matters. Sorry. Because of that, Hachino and I thought it was to avoid getting you guys confused, but I'm so sorry that Hachino tried to pretend to be okay, so sorry. Ayame-chan, it's a lie, right?
Tell us something.
Sorry, I was lying.
What? Then it's really...
Because the nurse's office is now locked, and since there are no facilities to treat the wound, it's literally hemostasis. It's really hard to stand still. Isn't that too much for her? Hatano, shouldn't you get treated quickly, get healed, and come to the trial later? Hey, what are you talking about? What's more important than the trial? That is, but... Ayame-chan, she can't even run again. No, I'm sorry, but I agree with Makaru. Whether your leg is crippled, cut off, or unable to walk, if you don't win the trial, you will all die. Then it's more serious than what you mentioned before the trial. I lied that I was okay with this. As a result, I caused even greater confusion and worry. I'm sorry, everyone. Hayame-chan doesn't have to be sorry. Can't she be let go? At least to get proper treatment.
No, it's absolutely forbidden to leave the court during the trial. If you're worried about Miss Hachino's leg, you'll have to finish the trial first.
You say that, but I'm also in agreement. I really don't care, but I want you to focus on finding the culprit. If the focus is on me, I'll die just standing. But Ayame-chan! So she says, but let me comply with the will. And don't you think it would be wise to finish the trial earlier in time and get her treatment? Uehara is right. Hachino, it may still be painful, but please, hold on a little. Let's focus on the trial for now, everyone. Oh, okay. Thank you for your consideration, Akane. Then, let's get back to the main topic again. Yeah? Where do we end again? We were talking about Hachino's injury by the wire. Yeah, shortly thereafter, Inori took Hachino to provide first aid. We went out of the power room and we continued the investigation.
That's the end of it, right? Quiz, but I think it's a useless question, so sorry in advance. The infirmary was locked, so how did you... Hachino's treatment and where?
Right. I needed something tough and thick to use as a bandage. There were some things like rags in the warehouse. However, since it really is a substitute and only first aid, there is a possibility of additional sepsis and bacterial infection. She will need antibiotics just in case.
But in order to do that, we have to find out the killer and end the trial, right? So why am I sitting here saying the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, but because someone died. Well, is there really another culprit among us? Among us, among us, among us? A killer who stabbed Tomori? Twice? Now, why are you doubting it for? That's for sure. But if you point the killer gets executed. It seems like you're sacrificing one person to save Hatano. So, would you save the killer? To save a killer, 11 of us have to die. I agree. Let me say this, okay? A person who knows their own situation is cheap, even if they die here. How long will you use our time on a useless topic? I didn't mean that! Apologize! I apologize! Also, how come Mikaru and Kinjo teamed up? They seem to be getting along better now. I understand Tori's feelings, but not really his words. Is that okay? I feel the same because it feels like, in the end, whether or not we point out the killer in this trial, someone will still be killed. I wish there were no victims, but that bear Monokuma thing won't let us go. Damn it! What purpose does he want to achieve?
So the case was cleared up. Who's the killer?
We have to figure that out from now on. Honestly, this case has a lot of twists. If you think of it as an ordinary murder case, it's not going to fit in at all. First, let's solve the mystery of each event one by one. The priority should be the victim's body.
The body?
Tomori's corpse was an important clue to be able to tell us the whole story of this incident. There aren't just one or two secrets related to her body, to the corpse.
Personally, I didn't notice there was anything special.
The corpse. Based on my investigation, let's present the evidence gathered. Non-stop debate. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to go over instructions again. Shift key. Which one shift? Of course, you will need to shoot the correct statement. Okay, I didn't pick up any of that. Yay! Alright, what do we get? Stomach wound and Kurokawa's testimony. So since we're talking about the body, we're probably gonna go with the stomach wound, I'm guessing? I don't remember. The knife was on her neck, that's true. Also, the whole body was bloody all over. Terrible. Satsuki threw up or some shit. She was dead. Is this relevant? Other than that, can't you think of something more essential? Okay, I'm pretty lost. It was written in the Monokuma file about what Tomori died of, and he gave me a clue that supports that evidence. Oh no, oh, it didn't like that. Oh god. What clues does Tomori's body have? So I'm gonna be arguing, right? I don't remember well. The knife was on her neck, right? No, it doesn't seem like that. Something makes the idea seem wrong. It was written in the Monokuma file about what Tomori died of, and it gave me a clue. Okay, nah, yep. I'm doing so great. I love this. What clues does Tomori's body have? The knife was in her neck. That is true. The whole body was bloody. Yes, no? Oh my god. Well, this is embarrassing. I'm gonna have to come back to this, aren't I?
I'm confused. I think I'm gonna have to go over the instructions again. Okay. So we have the stomach wound and we have Kurikawa's testimony. What clues does Tomori's body have? I don't remember well. The knife was in her neck. Yes, that's correct. Whole body was bloody. I mean, that's also correct, right? Okay. It was written in the Monokuma file about what Tomori died of, and then he gave me a clue that supports that evidence. So it's the she was dead. I think it's supposed to be the stomach wound to the she was dead line. That seems to make sense. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck they're asking here. So, the stomach wound happened first, and then the knife in her neck. So this is where, you know, the body was bloody. Sasuke threw up. And she said she was dead, but this is not true. What? Seriously? Okay, is this like a glitch or something? I really thought I was thinking this through. Maybe we're talking about the knife? I don't fucking know. Oh! Wow, okay. What even? I just... That's not fair. Like, am I really stupid? The knife was in her neck, so the contradiction was that it wasn't a simple knife? Like, what? We knew it was a kitchen knife, but why did he say then that evidence came from the Monokuma file? We didn't get that from the Monokuma file, we got that from Kurikawa. Oh my god, I'm like mad at my game. I'm mad at myself, I'm mad at the game. Tyra, wait a second. The weapon that stabbed Tomori was not a simple knife. It was a kitchen knife. Huh? Kitchen knife? Right. It's even clearly stated in the Monokuma file. Okay, so that's why it said the Monokuma file. So it said in the Monokuma file that it was a kitchen knife, but I still don't understand why that was a contradiction. That... whatever. It's clearly stated in the Monokuma file. The definitive cause of death is a cut through the esophagus caused by a knife. Right. Sorry, I can't remember well. But the kitchen knives are only in the kitchen. Is there any evidence the culprit brought it? There is. Because Kurikawa saw that a knife disappeared from the kitchen right after the incident. Right, Kurikawa? Yes. Too slow a response. So the killer brought the kitchen knife out of the kitchen.
I guess it disappeared from the kitchen.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, I am actually frustrated with this. We're going in circles and I've lost the plot, y'all. But that's a little weird. If the killer used a kitchen knife, there's a contradiction. What are you talking about? Oh wait, I think I know. Is this why Tyra's speaking up? It's clear then, at the time of the crime, Tyra should know that it was contradictory for the killer to take the kitchen knife from there. The reason is... well, it's gonna be her testimony, right? Tyra's testimony that she was in the kitchen? Yeah. So she, okay. My brain's not braining. I'm trying so hard to, like, keep all of this straight, except we're just going in circles about it's a kitchen knife. So apparently both the Monokuma file and Kurakawa said that it was a kitchen knife, but Tyra is saying that because she was in the kitchen, no one took a knife. That's her statement. Tyra, the contradiction is because you were in the kitchen at nighttime, right? Yes, right. That's it, Maeda-kun. What? But what does that mean? Makaru, didn't you say you weren't gonna meddle? I said I wouldn't help, but I didn't say I would not raise a question, asshole. Yikes! Tyra told me. She was cooking in the kitchen near the end of nighttime. Cooking? Yeah, I'm sure because I remember that I accidentally splashed oil on my clothes and wiped them up in the bathroom.
Oh, that happened!
Wait, if Tyra was still in the kitchen at that point, how did the culprit take the knife from the kitchen without bumping into her?
Also, that's not all that's weird. Tyra said it was around nighttime, but Tomori's death was at 9:30, written in the Monokuma file. Tyra, I'm asking just in case. You're the last person in that area. Did you put all the knives in place before you left the kitchen?
Yes, I used it when I was cooking myself, so I remember it for sure.
Wait, what? When the knife was used in the crime, Tyra, if you checked all the knives in the kitchen, that doesn't make sense.
That's why it's called a contradiction.
If you think about it, do you think it's not a kitchen knife then? No, there are only kitchen knives in the kitchen. The second floor was open, and I've been searching all places ever since.
But when everyone started investigating, didn't Kurakawa say she saw the kitchen knife disappear? The knife used as a weapon, kitchen, that's correct.
Which one is it?
Kinjo, don't you know?
Sure, it's a contradiction. You don't even have to think about the ridiculous story of using another knife out of nowhere. Ginjo reached the limit! Now we're all finished! But there is only one way to solve this problem.
Really? How?
Very simple, in fact. Tyra, you are lying right now. Ooh, that's a bold claim. Honestly, I kind of suspect it too, though.
What? Huh? Wait, why is it this way?
Isn't it obvious? The Monokuma file doesn't lie. Then the time of death is sure to be 9:30. Also, the kitchen knives are only from the kitchen. Therefore, the order of events, the kitchen knife being taken from the kitchen, killed Kizuna Tomori, is established. These two facts can be proven with certainty. But what does Akane Tyra mean? What proves that woman was cooking in the kitchen?
Now, wait a minute. What are you trying to say?
Tyra, I'm in doubt. Were you together with someone? Yes or no?
I was alone.
I can't believe someone without witnesses. Anyone can use it as if it's just a talkative alibi.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Why is the room like this all of a sudden? I was really in the kitchen, you guys.
But if Tyra's words are true, it would never have happened.
Tyra, did you lie?
Why did you lie? Don't tell me!
Tyra's the culprit! Why am I the culprit? What reason is there for me to kill Kizuna-chan? There's nothing!
It's because it was an accident, but the fact that we're pointing her out so early does make me doubt that that's going to be our final answer. There's going to be some other twist to it. Something to involve, as we know, a third person. Ooh, maybe Tyra was the third person. Like, maybe a witness to the crime, or involved somehow. I don't fucking know.
I got it. She kept ignoring the persuasions and invitations. Did you bear a grudge?
Funny, really. Kizuna-chan grunted a lot, but in the end she accepted us. The murder happened after that.
I concede that you may not be the killer. Still, to say you were in the kitchen would be a lie. Why are you lying like that?
No, it's not a lie. Tyra, tell me honestly. I want to believe you, that you're not the culprit. But then, are you really lying to us?
Wakaranai deko. Okay. Ayame says...
Wait, I can't tolerate Akane being the culprit without corroboration. But I'm not trying to blame them. It doesn't make any sense if her words are true. No, there's a case where Akane's words can be proven to be true enough.
What?
It seems you haven't realized since you don't. Let me show you. The fact that Akane never lied.
Counter argument. Oh, goodness. So I think this is probably another one. Decision key. The words with yellow letters can be rejected by pressing the shift key using the selected truth knife. You can change the truth knife. Left and right arrow keys. I don't understand any of it. Oh well. Broken window, Kinjo's testimony, and blood traces. Oh gosh. If Akane's words are true, then it's simple. The time of death is 9:30 p.m. You can't use the knife before that. No, there's still a contradiction. Didn't you forget Tomori's fatal injury is a cut to the throat, meaning it's not hard to think that death was not instant. Okay, in other words, the time of Tomori's death is almost consistent with the time of using the knife, so I think we're going to use the blood traces. No? You know what? That's probably a good place to stop anyway. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Give it a like if you liked the episode. If you didn't, keep it to yourself. But thanks for watching this far anyway. Of course, subscribe. Do the subscribe thing if you want to see more. And join me in the next one. Hope to see you there. Bye!